Hello everyone, this is Hero. Welcome to my SL6, New Game Plus 2, Pure Melee, Asterisk, playthrough of Demon Souls. This is 1-2 after we've just beaten Phalanx and we've moved on to 1-2. This is the Tower Knight Archstone, or the Dragon Bridge, the infamous Dragon Bridge, because unless you know the timings and especially if this is your first time, you'll probably be a little bit surprised to find that you'll have a dragon chasing you throughout your entire journey along this bridge. In my last challenge run, I actually killed this dragon with my bow, because in that playthrough I heavily relied on that bow to do a lot of the work that I felt that I couldn't really do. And something I like about this level is that you can see the dragon if you look off to the right, which is your first clue apart from these burning bodies on the bridge. But if you saw just before, looking straight ahead, you can actually see the fog gate that heads towards that leads you to the Tower Knight, which I think is a cool detail, because it kind of reminds me of like Portal and Portal 2, where it's especially if it's a user designed puzzle, it's a good puzzle because the solution to the problem is presented immediately, and they don't really do this often in Souls games. If you notice, you head into a completely new area and all you can see is 3 doors, and every one of them looks like it's got shit in it, so you don't really want to go to any of them, so you figure you've eventually, of course, got to go to all of them. This level's a little bit different because you've got that you've got that fog gate up there telling you that's where you've got to go, and that's, you've only got this far to go, and those stairs just down there, I think I know they actually lead down to the merchant, and there are some lovely dogs down there that I never ever want to associate with, but unfortunately off camera I kind of do have to associate with them often, because I can buy, I think, throwing knives and fire bombs, especially from that merchant down there, and the fire bombs are extremely useful, especially in the Valley of Defilement. And something I sort of meant to mention in the last episode is that I've taken on a melee only run, and that's with a big asterisk on there, because I do use thrown weapons, but these thrown weapons, fortunately for me, because I think I'd have a hard time controlling aggro otherwise, these thrown weapons don't actually benefit from the hyper mode, the Morion blade and clever cat ring combination that I've got going here. So it doesn't matter if you've got 1 hit point or all of them, all of your hit points. If you throw a throwing knife, then it's going to do like 10-11 points of damage no matter if you're in hyper mode or not, which is something good because I can just use them because they're cheap to buy, fire bombs and stuff, especially in New Game Plus, because you've got your farming spots and everything, and everything just gives a bit more souls. Like each of these guys gives 225 souls, and killing 2 of them basically earns you a fire bomb. So if you kill enough of them, then you can just farm. You can just farm for all the fire bombs you'd ever want. I'm talking about these fire bombs so much because they are actually much more useful than I'm kind of making them out to be, because not only do they draw aggro, not only do they have an area of effect to them, so you can affect multiple small enemies like the rats in the Valley of Defilement, but you can also, with the fire bombs, because it's a fire-based attack, when it hits an enemy, it causes them to do that prolonged flinch animation where they're stuck in the process of getting hurt. And this flinching, this fiery flinching animation is a lot longer than your normal standard flinch, because if you throw a throwing knife at an enemy while it's charging at you, it'll stop for about 1/4 of a second, but then it'll just keep running at you like you'd not really done anything to it yet. So what's important with this firebomb is that it's a prolonged animation, so if you've got an enemy charging at you and say they've got reach on you, like they've got a spear or something like that, then you can actually just throw one of these firebombs at them. They do that little arms flaily animation, and while they're doing that, you can run in, and if you've got a long weapon like the S-Stock or perhaps one of the halberd class weapons, you can... Oh, look, yeah. See, that's the line where you don't... That's where you get hit by the fire. Yeah, but once you hit them with the fireball, you can just run in and actually just kill them while they're being stunned, and that's actually pretty much the only way that I figured out how to kill the spear guys with the fire, and then with the hot poker guys out in the Valley of Defilement, because those guys are fucking annoying. They cause so much, they do so much damage. It's obscene. And in my last video, I I talked about this epic confrontation that I had with Blue Eyes Knight up here, because as you can see at the moment, I've got a crossbow guy that I've left living still standing there, and I've got two crossbow guys up above still shooting at me, and I've got this guy on me already. And this guy's not so bad because he's only a normal Blue Eyes Knight, and it only took like a little war of attrition to sort of whittle him down with the Crescent S-Stock, so that was good. But as you can see, I've got two very... See, I've just thrown a secret throwing dagger at the crossbowman, thinking that he'd come towards me, but of course he's a crossbowman, so all that's going to do is get him to shoot at me. And that's also attracted the attention of the two Black Phantom Blue Eyes Knights that are up here. And these guys, I was so afraid of them, and I mentioned in my last video that I probably took the most complicated... This guy's just hanging off my arm. Get off. See, I was too nervous about this situation to even worry about the fact that there was someone hanging off my arm. There we go. I'm just waiting for the Black Phantoms to back off so that I can just... Yep, there we go. So last crossbow guy on ground level is dead. I can't kill the guys up above because I just don't have a bow, so I can't bother with it. So I've only got this tiny little area to fight these two Black Phantom Blue Eyes Knights. And I'm just kind of, at the moment, I'm looking like I'm having trouble figuring out how to actually take one of them on. So I managed to get the lock on one of them, because you can't free throw in this game for shit, so you have to get the lock on in order to get a good thrown item at them. So I've just attracted the aggro of one of these guys, and see, I'm having this little... See, I'm just waiting for him to make a mistake, and then smacking him with the S-Stock, and then you hit him with the S-Stock, and he's got his shield up, so you do that little recoil thing, and you sort of expect him to just step forward and stab your brains out, but he doesn't do it, and I'm just waiting for him to attack so that I can do my own. And with that attack, he breaks my guard, and very, very lucky that doesn't actually do any damage when he breaks a guard in this game. But it's like, as I mentioned in my last video, that I was having this amazing time just trying to... This was so tense for me when I was doing it, because I was going, I'm going to get shot by someone up above, or someone on the ground level, or this guy's just going to fucking own me, and this is... and I'm still trying to turtle poke, and I'm just doing the beach poke because I'm scared, and I'm scared, and I'm scared, and see, look, I didn't even have the range then, and I poked twice into thin air. And see, I didn't know at this point, because I didn't have the experience with the game, that this enemy, this Blue Eyes Knight, is probably one of the easiest enemies in the game to backstab. And backstabbing isn't something that I did a lot of in Demon's Souls, because I couldn't really always get it to work. It's one of those things where Dark Souls made a whole heck of a lot easier, because pretty much as soon as you were in the back quarter circle of the enemy, you could just get that backstab. You just press the right shoulder button, and then you've got the backstab, and it's usually just killed the enemy in one hit. But it's not so in Demon's Souls. The angle on that attack is very strange, and even in over 120 hours now that I have now, I don't know how to do this. See, and I'm just thinking this is going to be another really long, protracted fight again, and then I just circle around the back, and I'm realizing, hold on, his attacks are really, really animation heavy, and I just circle around and do 600 damage in one backstab. And this is where I start to get confident because I did a little two-handed thing, tried to get him on the wake up, and I just blocked that attack, moved around the back, and got him with a backstab. So I'm feeling nice and confident now because I've only got this Blue Eyes Knight to go, and this is always that really tense moment, you know, until you one-shot them. So this is me going, amazing, because this was the second attempt. Obviously I died earlier when the dragon breathed fire on me. When he didn't breathe fire on me, is that those particles were nowhere near me, but he managed to kill me anyway. And I know it must be kind of hard to render good-looking fire that's also, you know, it's also really clear as to where the hitbox for it is and everything, but it can just feel a little bit unfair when, you know, that thing clearly didn't even touch you, and somehow it managed to, you know, scrape you. And if you had all your health, then it probably did about 70% of your life, and of course it one-shot me. So this is an interesting cutscene because you see about 50 of those crossbowmen up there, and you're probably shitting your pants when you walk through the fog door, and you got this big guy and all these bloody crossbowmen. And I know the first time I did, I was like, what the fuck? You know, how many enemies are they going to make you take care of in this? But there's only 6 on either side and 2 on the stairs, so you've only got 8 to take care of rather than the 30 that they had in that cutscene. So, you know, a little bit of embellishment on From Software's behalf on that cutscene. And this bit, thanks to the S-Dock, is actually really, really simple because the S-Dock has amazing range, and you can just poke at them pretty damn safely from the... Yeah, you can poke them pretty damn safely from the safety of the stairs, and the Tower Knight can't even hit you with his projectile. And honestly, I've never been hit by that Tower Knight's projectile. Even when it looks like I really, really, really should have, I have no idea how to actually get hit by it except to stand still in the open on the stairs or something. Because look, even there, it looked like it should have hit me, but I'm glad it didn't, because if that could hit you through the cement and everything, I'd be a little bit angry, and I think a lot of people would have been a bit angry. And I'm imagining that when they playtested the game, that maybe it did hit you through the geometry, so, you know, there's that. So, you know, thank you, From Software, if that was a change, thank you, because that wouldn't have been a good one. Now I just got this one last crossbowman to go, and I see, oh, that was quite close. I wonder if that would have hit me, just because that was a really tiny pillar. I think that might have hit me, if I hadn't dodged out of the way, of course. And this guy, being cheeky, hiding out on the stairs, just like a couple of steps lower so that my pokes don't hit him in the head. And right now, this is me being a bit nervous, because I usually stand around the other side and stand on this same corner, on the symmetrical corner on the other side, and wait for him to go back to his original position, except he's moved over to the left side, which is when you've got a routine for a boss that you've figured out and they do something different, and then, like me, when you run back around to the other side and you try to get him to sit back in his original position that he used to, because otherwise the boss just won't go right, and you're feeling kind of nervous, and then they don't move back to where you want them to move to, like now, because I think I'll spend a little time just standing here going, please move back now, but all he really wants to do is spam his projectiles at me, so bloody Tower Knight. Anyway, this is my first attempt, and I'm quite happy with this, because Tower Knight in the recorded playthrough that I put up, Tower Knight was one of those bosses that I just had to learn, and it didn't seem all that hard after I'd learned him, because it's basically every time he does an attack, run around his right side. That is it. Or his left, your right. And then just attack the ankles. Hit each ankle 3 times, and then he'll fall over. I almost wish I'd died a couple more times or something, just to have something to fill out this episode, because currently this is like a 16-minute video, and out of my recent videos, which have all been, you know, 20 minutes plus at least, look, I just two-shot the Tower Knight because the Dragon Longsword and Pure White character tendency and the Morion Blade and Clever Cat Ring are just ridiculous altogether. So you revived, and this time I actually did manage to do it on Pure Black World tendency. So I'm doing a little cheer because that was the very first time I attempted it, and I was feeling pretty proud of myself. And there's my equipment, and come on, show my stats. So level 6, that's her name, Lily. Okay, yeah, Pure White character tendency, everything's Pure Black World tendency as well. And that is the end of the video, so thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.